For decades, Barry stood as the shining light of the Bee Gees. The soaring falsetto, the songwriter, the brother who held it all together when everything else fell apart. His music defined generations. His voice lit up dance floors, and his songs became part of the world's emotional DNA. But behind the fame, the glitter, and the legendary success lies a story of loss, loneliness, and survival. Barry Gibb's life has been filled with unimaginable highs and devastating lows that most people could never bear. Born in 1946 on the Isle of Man, Barry was the eldest of the 5 Gibb siblings, the quiet leader of what would become one of the greatest musical families in history. From the beginning, he carried a sense of responsibility. His younger brothers, Robin, Maurice, and later Andy, all looked up to him. When they began performing together as the Bee Gees in the early 1960s, Barry's vision drove them forward. Their harmonies, infectious melodies, and distinctive sound made them international superstars. By the late 1970s, the Bee Gees were unstoppable. Stayin' Alive, How Deep Is Your Love, Night Fever. The songs became anthems of an era. To the world, Barry Gibb had everything: fame, fortune, and family. But behind the glittering success was a growing storm. Fame came with a cost, and the bond between the brothers, once inseparable, began to fray under the pressure. Robin's desire for independence, Maurice's struggles with addiction, and the youngest brother Andy's turbulent lifestyle all weighed heavily on Barry. He became the protector, the glue holding the family together, even as his own heart was breaking. The first real tragedy came in 1988, when Andy Gibb, the baby of the family, died suddenly at just 30 years old. Andy had been battling depression and addiction, and despite Barry's desperate attempts to help him, he couldn't save his little brother. Barry was shattered. He said later that Andy's death never left him, that a part of his soul was gone forever. Yet, he carried on, for the sake of the music and for his remaining brothers. But the heartbreak didn't stop there. In 2003, Barry's twin brother Maurice died unexpectedly from complications following a twisted intestine. Maurice had always been the peacekeeper, the gentle soul who kept harmony in the group and in the family. His death devastated Barry and Robin. For the first time, Barry began to question whether he could keep going. "It was like losing the part of me that kept me balanced," he later confessed. Then, just 9 years later, the final blow came. In 2012, Robin Gibb, Barry's closest musical partner and twin in spirit, passed away after a long battle with cancer. Barry was now the last surviving Gibb brother. The man who once harmonized with his family on stages around the world now stood alone. "I never expected to be the last one," he said quietly. "I can't listen to our songs sometimes. It hurts too much." Even today, Barry admits that he lives with a deep sense of survivor's guilt. The Bee Gees' music continues to touch millions, but behind every melody is a memory of the brothers he lost too soon. He's spoken openly about how performing their songs brings back waves of emotion, sometimes so strong he can barely make it through. "Every time I sing," he once said, "I hear their voices. I feel them with me. But when the music stops, it's just me." In his later years, Barry has retreated from the spotlight, focusing on his family and cherishing the quiet moments he once took for granted. Yet the pain of outliving everyone he loved most never fully fades. The laughter, the rivalry, the harmonies that once filled his life are now just echoes. Beautiful, haunting reminders of what once was. At 80, Barry Gibb remains a legend, a man who turned tragedy into timeless art, but his story is one of heartbreak as much as triumph. He gave the world joy even while his own heart was breaking. Behind the music, behind the fame, stands a lonely survivor, the last Gibb brother, still singing, still remembering, still grieving, and that's what makes his story so profoundly tragic. That the man whose voice once defined love and life now sings alone in the silence of memory. Barry Gibb's life reminds us that even legends can be broken, and that sometimes the greatest songs come from the deepest pain.